it's insane. It's insane. And just that building, knowing what happens inside that building, knowing how I felt being in that building, because I'm definitely not coming back here to this cold place again. Good morning. Good morning. I just woke up, and you've seen this face out of bed before, so don't act like you haven't. I'm not wearing black. I just threw something on. But today we have a very special video, and I want to take the time to tell you. We have a sit down where I'm going to pack a gift or wrap a gift for a friend. He's having a baby, so I want to give him something nice. I'm seeing him today to do something that I did not think I would do. It's unplanned, off script, but we're going to the city where I was at 5 years ago, almost 6, where I spent 10 years in a cult. Yes, 10 years in a cult. We're going to that place. And I'll talk about it, and we'll put in positioning, personal branding, because someone had a great question about that. So we're going to put that in the video as well. But yeah, it's going to be an exciting one. So let me get my wrapping paper, start wrapping this gift, talk a bit about personal branding, and let's get into what we're going to expect today. So to be all clear, this video is not just... To be clear, this video is not going to be a sit down of me talking. We're going to another city, and you're going to see me walk the streets of the cult that I was at. And we might even get footage of the cult. So stay here, don't leave. And if you want to leave, by all means. Okay, let me get my wrapping paper. Let's get this out of the way. Let's put that right there. Okay. We got wrapping. Scissors. Stay right here. Scissors. You know what? Yeah, I don't have to leave. Look. Everything is right here. I tell people I'm not messy. I'm messy structured. As you know, I've said this before. If you get a gift from me, you're gonna get it in this. I love this thing. So today we're wrapping baby gifts. My friend, a buddy of mine, he is becoming a dad. Yeah, he's becoming a dad, and I wanted to get him and his girlfriend something for the baby. So I'll show you in a bit. Let me take off the price tags and everything. Take off these price tags. That's the first thing you do when wrapping a gift. Don't worry, I'm throwing it like to the side right now, but I'm gonna clean up. I'm gonna clean up, guys. I'm gonna clean up. Yeah. Let's remove everything that can harm the kid. See these things, you gotta remove them. You don't want to hurt the baby. Yes, I did wash my hands, because as you know, I wash my hands and I wash my face, wash my hands, oil everything. So it's all clean. So look how cute this is. Look at that. That's so cute. And should I leave this on there? I have no idea. Sometimes I look to the side because I can see the camera, whether it's fully zoomed or not, because I have it on my phone, but it says stretch. I don't know if I should leave it on there, but I will. And so if you're a mom of female or someone who knows a lot about kids, let me know if I should have taken this off or leave it on there. Drop it in the comments below. So yeah, so we got a hat. We've got this toy thingy, and we've got this cute little outfit. Let me remove the price tag. Nobody cares about that. And this cute little outfit right here. And in case you're wondering why it's not pink or blue, because at the time of buying this, I didn't know what gender the baby would be. So I just bought something that both gender could wear. So yeah, but spoiler alert, my buddy is getting a boy. He's having a boy, or they are having a boy. So we are doing something. This is so cute. Look at this. Tell me this is not cute. Like, tell me this is not cute. So it's a whole fit, like a hat and this thingy, and I can see the kid already playing with this. I know you can. You can already see his kid. You can already see his kid in this outfit, just playing, just being a baby. All right, how are we gonna do this? All right, wait, let's see. I've never wrapped a kid's gift in this before. All right, so let's just do it like that. Let's roll. Look, making a, what do you call this? Like a roll. Let's just roll it all up. And let's position it like something like this. Maybe that's cute, or something like this. I think this is cool, right? Yeah, this is cool. Let's make it something like that. All right, enough about this thing. I'm gonna talk about a question that I got this morning. And the question was about personal branding. So someone sent me a comment in my comment section of LinkedIn asking, what is the difference between positioning and personal branding? Like, are they the same or not? Just a question like that, a very good question. So I want to answer that question here too. I answered it already, but I want to answer that question here too. Positioning is the space you take up in the minds of others. And I'm going to give you an example. Positioning is the space you take up in the minds of others. So it's basically the real estate. How do people think of you? Okay? And that is something that you cannot control. You cannot control how a person thinks about you. For example, you can see me right now, and maybe you're watching, it's the first time seeing my face, and you're like, hey, this guy is very sweet. He's making a gift for his kid or his friend's kid. Then it's your first time interacting with me. You could think, hey, he's a cool dude. He's a good dude. He's kind-hearted. You might think that. I have zero control over that. No control, right? In the same breath, you could be thinking, or another person could be thinking, this guy does not know how to rap. He sucks at it. Again, I have zero control of the space I take up in your mind. I cannot, right? That is positioning. So in business term, I didn't bring my water. So in business term, we could be like saying, are you perceived as an expert in the minds of others? Are you perceived as a cheap option in the minds of others? Are you perceived as a quick option in the minds of others? So how are you perceived in the mind of your consumer? I'm thinking right now that you have a business. I don't know why, but say that you have a business. Are you the cheap option, the quick option? You can go on and on and on. So that is positioning. I hope that's clear. Please comment below. Okay, comment below and let me know. You know what? I'm going to remove this stretch sticker. I'm just going to remove it. I don't know why. I took it off, people. I took it off. So that is something you have no control over, right? You have no control over what other people think about you in the sense of positioning. However, with personal branding is the act. So the act of intentionally influence that perception. I know it's a mind, yeah? They are so closely related. Personal branding, positioning, very closely related. On the one end, it's
People, you have no influence of what people think about you, how they perceive you, the space you take up in their mind. Positioning. Personal branding is intentionally influencing that perception. So, in the first example, oh, this guy is so sweet. He's wrapping a gift for his friend's kid. That's how you think of me when you see me. I could influence that perception even more by on this channel just being a sweet guy. I might make this a rapping channel where I rap gifts for all my friends. I could go on the street and give money to the poor. And that would build up on your perception of me. That would make you really think I'm a nice guy. Okay? But I could also influence that perception by, the second example. Oh, this guy sucks at rapping. He doesn't know what he's doing. I could rap more gifts where I'm just terrible at rapping. And that would influence your perception of me, right? So that is personal branding. So I could personally brand myself as someone who is very kind and sweet or someone who sucks at rapping. Okay? They're closely related, they're not the same. One, you have no control over, the other, you intentionally work hard to control it. Got it? Okay. I hope that's clear. If it's clear, comment below. If not, I'll try to explain it again. But that is the difference between positioning and personal branding. Oh, you probably can tell I cannot do two things at the same time. Right now, what I'm doing is just trying to get this in the middle. Yeah, so now that we have positioning and personal branding in space, I'm going to take you into a bit of my personal story, my life, in case you haven't heard it before. But a couple of years ago, I was in a cult. Yeah, a real cult, not a funny cult, like a real one. Of course, at the time, I did not know that it was a cult. If I knew it was a cult, I wouldn't be in there, obviously. So I didn't know it was a cult. Does this make more sense? Maybe this does. Yeah. No. Let's see. Does this make more sense? I'm just trying things out, guys. All right, no. We're going to leave it at this. So, of course, at the time, I didn't know it was a cult, but I was still in that space. And it took me about 10 years to get out. Oh, this is so cool. Look at this. Somebody look at this. Isn't it cute? So it took me about 10 years to get out of that cult. And yeah, it was a hard time, a dark time in my life, getting out of the cult. When I was in the cult, before I knew it was a cult, actually I knew it was a cult, or I was researching about it a year before I came out. So the first 9 and somewhat months, 9 years and somewhat months, I was, fully in there until something shifted. I realized something, and that's when I started questioning and looking into it and researching. Spent a long time doing that, close to a year, when I figured out or said, you know what, this is a cult, I'm out. Getting out was not easy. Police got involved. Even the, the FBI version in the country I'm living in right now, detectives got involved with this whole procedure because this cult was not letting me go. They wanted me, I don't want to say dead, but that's how it seemed. Came to my house midnight kicking, almost wanted to break down my door. It was that bad. But I'm telling you this just to also show you something about positioning and personal branding. Personal branding, or positioned, how I was positioned 10 years ago, and I'll put a picture right here. You would not recognize me. I had a low cut because the cult didn't allow you to have long hair. They say biblical reasons. I always had to have my face clean shaved, and I mean like no hair, because that's the way they think you're presentable. I had to wear suits. Before that, I hated suits. Imagine, or mind you, I'm coming from basketball, right? Before that, I was a basketball player, college basketball. You know how athletes in general, basketball players dressed. So I went from that to fully suits every single day. I had to have a suit on. Think of the Mormons. It was like that. I wasn't in the Mormon cult, but it's they similar in the sense of their dressing, and you have to be going to every door and being representative in that way. That is the reason that I really do not like suits. I look good in suits. I look good in suits, but I don't like them because I've worn them my whole life, basically. Yeah. So that was a tough time getting out of that cult. They took away my identity. Really, I was wearing a mask. I didn't know it was a mask, but I was being someone I was not for a long time. And that is why I'm good in what I do. I can say that, without any arrogance, I know how it feels for people not to be able to tell their story. And my whole business is teaching, positioning, personal branding, helping people take out their real story and using that story to empower themselves and empower others. Like, really taking out, I know how to find the real stories within people. And it's all because I lived hiding my story for the longest after I came out of the cult. So yeah, that being said, in the cult, if you saw me 5 years ago, I would be perceived in your mind as a pastor, a deacon, someone who is studying the Bible, a theologian, maybe a bug because I'm always talking about God. I would be perceived as that person to you. Like, seriously, that's how I would be perceived in your mind. And after coming out of the cult, after mourning for a year or so, I started rebranding myself. What do I want to be? And I started taking that control of, I want to be the person known for brand strategy at the time. And eventually I just narrowed it down to positioning and personal branding because they so much correlate. And and yeah, that's what I've been doing since. And that's the reason I say I want to be on stages and be known for this thing, because I do have a strong story and stories to tell how I got here. And so, yeah, so that's that. I feel like every video I'm telling you about what I want to become, like my goal and my dream. I think this is cool. Maybe the bow should be this side. So yeah, I feel like every video I'm telling you this, and I hope it's not annoying, but I do have strong dreams. I do have strong dreams to do that. And I'm just speaking out my mind. I'm just speaking out my mind. Wait, I feel like I have to put a card in this thing. No, you know what? Let's do that later. So yeah, so that's how I was. I was a couple years ago, and all this to tell you that maybe you're watching this and you're in a dark point in your life. Maybe you are having some difficulties. Maybe you are positioned right now as a horrible person in someone's mind. Maybe you're positioned wrongly in the minds of people. And I want to tell you that you can change this. Really. You can change the way you are perceived. You can change the way people look at you. Yeah, you have that in your control. We cannot change the way people think about us directly, right? We cannot influence that directly because their judgment is their judgment. But we can influence that strongly with personal branding. I gave you examples, so it's possible. And look at my life. Like, I am no longer known. Like, if you tell someone, yo, KJ was a pastor, or no one would see me like that anymore. But until they get to know me, they might think, oh, I do see, certain behaviors, and like, doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, doesn't do this, doesn't do that. I can see certain certain morals and moral values that I still carry, and I do that intentionally because I just want to be a good person. I don't want to be a bad person, obviously. And yeah, I won't say these are morals from the church. These are things that my mom raised me well. Let's just say that. My mom raised me well. So yeah, you can change and you can do that with personal branding. And that is why I'm so obsessed and ambitious about personal branding, right? So today, I read my gifts. We are 20 something minutes in, and you know I don't edit or take out things. But we are still, this is a sit down, but we're going into a vlog. I hope the weather gets better. Next time you see me, I might be in the car, on the road. If my buddy wants to be on camera or smile for the camera, I'll happily do so. If not, that's cool. Not everyone loves the camera. And we'll be walking the streets of the cold. I'll film the cold. I might have shades on because I don't want them to recognize me, of course. That might start a whole thing. I'm gonna have my hair loose because they don't know me with hair. I'm gonna clean up my beard, but not take it all off. I just don't want to be recognized. I'm gonna be like Agent Zero, and I'm gonna walk that same street. I'm gonna film, and it's a Saturday. Saturday, that's their busiest day. That's their service day. So I just hope I don't get recognized. I hope I don't get recognized today, but see you in a bit. I am ready to leave the crib and off to the cult. So next time you see me, we'll be in Rotterdam. That's where the cult is. And oh, I'm so anxious, but let's go. I just arrived in Rotterdam, so where the cult is. I'm all incognito, got the glasses on, black hat, all black everything. So yeah, I'm gonna pick up my friend from the train station, then we're gonna head to the south of Rotterdam where this cult is located. I'm still pretty, what's the word? I won't say nervous. I'm kind of anxious in a positive way though, just to see how it is all going since I've left. If I can see faces, if they recognize me. I did cut my beard a little bit and it came out a little too low. And because it's a little too low, they might recognize me. So I have my shades on. I have my dreads, which I did not have. So I'm gonna see if they recognize me. And it would be fun if they recognize me, but I'm not alone. I'm walking with my homie. And so it's a whole different vibe. So yeah, I'm gonna catch you maybe in the tram or in the station giving my friend his gift. Let me show you real quick. Got this thing with me for my friend. Yeah, so I'm gonna give him that. I could have just showed you like this, but I got the gift, wrote him a card, and that's it. My tram is coming in about probably now 10 minutes. Let's check. So that will be around 6 minutes. 6 minutes from now, I'm gonna jump on the tram and we're gonna be there soon. All right, cool. All right, catch you in a minute. Peace. Normally I'd be in here like so many times in the past. Like I've been in this tram for so many rides. Not in this one specifically. So we're gonna get out at the central station. Let me show you right now. For you who have never been to the Netherlands, this is Rotterdam, and yeah, I think in a couple stops I'm getting out, but I'm standing, and it's a bumpy, shaky ride. And today is actually King's Day. No, King's Day is in a couple of days, but people are celebrating the event and everything. When I got out of the cold, it was yeah, it was difficult for me. And there were three people that I reached out to a lot of people, but three people listened, and those are still people I'm close with to this day. Besides from people who came out together out of the cult with me, of course. But my friends before the cult, there are three that kind of remained, that I didn't, that weren't considered family, of course. And one of them I'm meeting up with today. His kid, or he's gonna get a son, and he understood and listened, and gave me advice where needed, and we're still meeting up and vibing, and I really appreciate that. So, dude, if you're watching, I appreciate you.
This is the church that I've been in for 10 years. Crazy, that's it. And it feels so weird. It feels crazy weird for me to be here. Just the whole feeling of not being back. They're in their service now, so I mean, yeah, they won't see me. But if I stayed any longer, it would be full of people here. But the feeling of being back after losing your whole identity to a cult, it's insane. It's insane. And just that building, knowing what happens inside that building, knowing how I felt being in that building, it's insane. It's insane. So yeah, that's where I was for a very, very long time. I'm definitely not coming back here to this cult place again. World Mission Society Church of God, like, I haven't been back. Crossing this road, seeing bicycles, and I know there are people in there. It's crazy. It's just craziness. And I don't know why I feel like nervous. Escaping a cult is nothing easy, and I feel just so nervous standing here to see people, to feel sorry for those that I kind of left there. I'm not feeling emotional, but I'm just feeling sorry I wasted all these years, my time, I gave up so many things. And yeah, it's just a chapter I have to close. This feels so weird. That's where I was for 10 years, giving up everything. This building, so crazy to me. Just so crazy to me. My gosh, just being so close to this place, where I gave up everything, my whole life, literally my whole life. That's it, we're done, close that chapter, nothing else. I'm finished with this, and yeah, we're about to go. We're done. Nothing more to say about that. Closed chapter. That is my story. 10 years in that cult. World Mission Society Church of God. Don't go, stay away. It is a very dangerous place. I am still here in Rotterdam. Just had dinner with my friend. We had burgers. It was good. Burger was very good. We did walk on the roads for the cult. It was kind of awkward because my friend didn't understand what we were doing there, or couldn't understand why I wanted to go. So he was just confused. But yeah, I realized that not everyone will understand, definitely not understand what you've been through or what you feel. So that was it wasn't awkward. It was just kind of, just wondering if I should have gone there with him. But eventually understood and gave me my moment. So yeah, this is all real life. This is all real life. It's just, a part of your story that you rather not talk about, and it does add to it. It's part of the masks that we wear, or that we wore, part of our history that made us who we are. But I felt, now that I have time, my buddy's gone, and when back I have time to really talk about how I felt about going there and the feeling. And I think I can summarize it as I feel sad, not sad for myself, but sad for the people. Let's see, is this thing on? Yeah, sad for the people that I left there. I believe that's it, for the people that are still in the cult, and everything was closed up. So I know they had service, and I've seen cars and bikes and everything in the front. So I just feel sad for them, and they're in there thinking that they're going to heaven and God is going to come back and all the nonsense that we believe in. And I'm not saying religion is bad, don't get me wrong. I think religion and having faith is a good thing, but that place is not, because that place isn't about faith. That place is about money. That's the only thing that place is about. And I feel that, I feel that's sad. I feel that's not a good thing. So yeah, I'm gonna check out. Gave you some B-roll of Rotterdam, but that's it for today, for real. That is it. You've seen me wrap a gift for my buddy, talk a little bit about the cult, visit the cult, and just, I feel acceptance, overall acceptance, and I'm closing that chapter. Talking about the story, but closing that whole chapter and moving on. So from here, it's gonna be me, me just becoming a thought leader, speaking my truth on stages, and making a difference in the world in the way that I do it. Speak about positioning, personal branding. That's it. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for taking the time to listen, to see my story, learn about me. I appreciate it. Thank you for being in Rotterdam with me together. So this is my goodbye. See you next time.